For many of you, it is an old concept. For some, it is neutral concept. For many, for us, it is new concept. Okay. So why do we need? Why are we going for time series? Just I will explain about starting from what is time series. Then I'll go with time series concepts, like what are the components, what are the key concepts. Then I'll proceed with neural network, basics of neural network, then what is recurrent neural network, and what is LSTM. So, and finally, I will show the output. I'll show the demo of a time series analysis using LSTM concept. So this is my agenda today. Okay. So kindly bear me for next more than 1 hour. Okay. Okay. So before going into time series concept, so let me say what is time series. So time series is nothing but collection of data at regular intervals for a period of time. Hello. Time series is a collection of data over a period of time. Okay. Here we can say data is collected at regular intervals. Example, it can be in seconds, minutes, hours, months, quarters, and years. Okay. And example, we can say weather data collected at every hour. And so you will be knowing that the meteorological department is collecting weather data every hour. So another one is from IoT sensors, we can get the data that is in minutes. In split seconds, data is coming, right? So that is in minutes from sensors. Then we can study using study of a road traffic regularly. At what time traffic is high, what time traffic is medium, and what time traffic is low. And we can say daily usage of telephone usage traffic. Okay, so what time telephone traffic will be high, bandwidth will be used high. So what time it will be medium, and what time it is not used. So those kind of details as can be done using time series analysis. And as usual, the electricity usage across the states. So which state is producing high amount of electricity and less usage, so that we can give the unused electricity to other states. So those kind of things can be done, and also monthly sales forecasting. This is the common example of time series forecasting. Okay, so many companies will be will be thinking of what will be the next month's sales, what is going to be the next month's sales. Based on it, what they will do is they will arrange for the products or raw materials. Okay, that should be kept in stock. Okay, and energy forecasting. So energy forecasting is an important one. So energy forecasting in the sense oil producing. Okay, so oil producing. So which means oil production will be high. So it can be which means people are using less amount of petrol, diesel kind of thing. We can easily find out. Okay, so if we produce over, so at that time what we can do is we can produce a less amount of oil. Okay, so those things can be found using time series analysis. It is a good concept. Okay, so why do we need to go for time series forecasting? Okay, the reason for going is, see, data is, now the thing is, data is the new oil, right? Data is collected over a sequence of time frames, okay, which has a lot of significance and usage. Okay, so with this data, collected amount of data, we are not using anything. Okay, so with the help of time series, with respect to time-based data, you can find its usage in various industries and domains. As I said, in meteorological department, in manufacturing department, in energy department, in telecommunications, agriculture are some common examples. Okay, for example, in agriculture, we can say that crop production. Okay, find the crop production using which month the crop production is high. Okay, so those kind of details can be found out. Okay, which month crop production is low. Okay, so based on the weather data and the crop production, we can easily find out. Okay, so what these details. So these are the common examples of time series and why it is important. Okay, so next is before moving. Okay, so next is key concepts of time series forecasting. Okay, so these are the important things in this time series. Then everyone must know these concepts. Okay, so what is this time series components? Okay, so let us discuss. Okay, so the key components are mainly of time series is they are trend, cycle, seasonal, and trend with seasonal pattern. Okay, so let me go with trend. So trend is nothing but an increase and decrease in data with respect to certain period. Okay, which means that for a certain period of time there will be increase in trend, and certain period of time there will be a decrease in trend. Okay, so this is a trend. Cyclic is next we can go for cyclic. Cyclic is generally for a long term. Okay, business it is for economic conditions. Okay, and business cycles. It is generally for long term. It will take time. Okay, for example, recession. With respect to IT recession, if there is a recession, so recession will not happen suddenly. It will happen only for a strange period. Okay, for every 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. Okay, so this one kind of thing. Again, this coronavirus. So this is a cyclic condition. Why I'm saying cyclic is means, so this pandemic has come 100 years before. Now again it has come. Okay, it is a pattern. That's a cyclic pattern. Okay, so based on this, I'm saying, so this is a cyclic pattern. So it will not happen for a short period of time. It will happen for a longer period of time. It will happen for a longer period of time. Okay, so that is the cyclic. Then is seasonal. Seasonal is nothing but it is similar to cycle, but the time period is shorter here. For example, this is seasonal is regular pattern. So regular pattern in the sense, you can say for every month, this is every quarterly, half yearly, yearly. So this is a regular pattern. For example, you will be getting so next month Diwali is coming, so you will be getting Diwali every year. Okay, so during those period, the purchase of the sales will be high. Okay, sales will be high. So this is on seasonal. This comes at the regular basis. Okay, next is seasonal with trend with seasonal pattern. For example, what will happen is even in seasonal there will be some trend. Okay, for one period, seasonal will be there. For next period, the season will be, the sales will be a little higher. For next period, the sales will be a little higher. So this happens within a shorter period of time. Okay, so for example, business is starting. So at first it will be slow. After that, there will be reduction. After that, there will be increase in sales. After that, there will be reduction. So it goes on. Okay, so now we can see the examples. So the sales of the new one family versus USA. See, this is this pattern is nothing but a seasonal pattern with a cyclic pattern with seasonal pattern. Okay, so for a shorter period, for within 1 year periods, you can see the seasons. Okay, for a longer period, we can see the cycle. Okay, see, this is season cyclic with seasonal patterns. Okay, for a shorter period within a year, okay, we can say that that's the season. Okay, it is increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. That's a seasonal pattern. For a longer period, see, it is following a cyclic pattern. Okay, this one. And next one is US Treasury bill contracts. So we can say it is a decreasing trend. As I said, right? So it is increasing trend. Now we can see it is a decreasing trend. Okay. And one more thing is Australian quarterly electricity production. So you can see it increasing trend. So what people start consuming regularly. Okay, and keep on increasing as population increases, then electricity consumption also increases. And see, this daily changes in closing stock price. So this is nothing but this is an error, noise. Okay, this is noise. Next is, so next topic what I'm going to discuss next is, so what is the key concepts of time series forecasting. Okay, before that, so I'll continue what is the difference between the cyclic and seasonal. They both look similar, right? I will confirm it once again. See, the fluctuations are of a fixed frequency or not of fixed frequency. Okay, they are cyclic. If they are a fixed frequency, then they are called as seasonal. Okay, so if the frequency is unchanging and associated with some of the calendar, then pattern is seasonal. Okay, some of the calendar means on a fixed year. Okay, due to festivals, holidays, festivals, holidays. Okay, this is called seasonal. Okay, in general, the as I said, the period of cycling will be very huge. Here in seasonal pattern, the period of cycling will be very less. Okay, it is for short. Generally, I have to say it is for shorter period. This is for a longer period. Okay. So next key concepts of time series is nothing but autocorrelation. Okay, so what is autocorrelation? Okay, so you might have heard about correlation. Okay, now we are going to discuss about correlation. So correlation generally means it is a kind of linear relationship between the two variables. Okay, so linear whatever maybe. So sales versus year. Okay, so it is just a linear relationship. But autocorrelation is the relationship between the lagged value of a time series. So lagged value of a time series is nothing but a variable with its previous lag. Okay, times I will explain it. So I will explain it. So variable with its previous lag. So this is called as a lagged value of uh, the time series. Next we are going to discuss is white noise. Okay, so what is white noise? So when there is no autocorrelation, then generally we call it as white noise. Okay, so what is stationarity? So stationarity is key concept. Okay, so stationarity is nothing but the the value is remain constant over a period of time. Okay, and mean is constant. Okay, for example, we can say consider seasonal pattern. Okay, the seasonal pattern is here. If you see seasonal pattern, the mean is same, constant. Okay, this is stationarity. Okay, this is stationary. Okay, see in others, the mean is not constant. See, mean is not constant. Mean is not constant. Mean is not constant. In seasonal pattern, seasonality, the mean is constant. Next is, I said right, autocorrelation. Okay, so now so I explained this autocorrelation. Now I will show in graph. Okay, so this is the data points. Okay, first non-correlation coefficients for the it's basically for bead production data, and I'll given okay given below. Okay, so the correlation coefficient R1, R2, R3 are correlation coefficients. Okay, so 9 points are there, are starting from 912 R1 to R9. Okay, so the value starts from minus 0.12 minus 0.108. Okay, this is the starting and this is the ending. Okay, so what will happen if I plot autocorrelation function? What output is giving? Let us see. So this is the output it is giving. See, for certain cases the value is high, peak, and for certain cases the value is low. Okay, generally they are called as peaks and troughs. So with this and these are all peaks and these are on troughs. Okay, this is a common term used in time series forecasting. Okay, and what is this dashed point? Okay, this dashed point is nothing but it is white noise. I would say the white noise in next graph. Okay, so this dashed point is white noise, that is of no use. So we already seen, right? So we can say it as a noise, or even we can say a white noise. There will be no trend, no cycle, no trend with seasonal, nothing. It is just a noise. You can say no autocorrelation, nothing. Okay, this is a white noise, and it generally it will be between this range to this range. Okay, so now what we can understand from this is, so from this pattern, so what it says from this pattern, we can find that there's a seasonal trend with respect to the data, seasonal pattern. Okay, so you can see that it starts from here It starts from here, it is going like this, it is coming here, going. This data is showing some pattern, trend. Okay. Okay, this data is valuable. You can see. This data is valuable. Okay. This is showing some output. Okay. So with this we can find correlate. So sales is increasing every quarter. We can say every 4 points sales is increasing. Okay. Or sales is decreasing, but it is at the peak. It is showing general seasonal data with slightly negative trend with respect to sales. Increase in sales. So coming back to again the key concepts of time series forecasting, white noise again. So as I said, white noise is nothing but it will never show any correlation. That is, it will never show any relationship between the variables. Okay. So correlation in the sense here it is autocorrelation. Okay. So for a time series concept, the correlation is always autocorrelation. So correlation with its previous time period. Okay. This value will correlate with its previous time period. This value will correlate with its previous time period. Why I am saying taking previous time period? Because for a sales forecasting, we past pattern will always, we assume that this is the first thing I must have told you in the first thing. The past pattern behavior will continue in future. It may be, it may not be, but it is our assumption. So based on this past pattern, based on this past trend, we will say, so it will continue in future. Okay, this is the assumption of time series forecasting. Okay, so because of that only, so for the past period, it assumes the correlation with the past period with its present. Okay, based on correlation of past period, it will find the correlation of the present. Okay, it will find the value of the present. Okay, but in this white noise, it looks like a seasonal pattern. It looks like a seasonal pattern, but actually it is not. Okay, so with this graph, we cannot conclude, but why we are saying this as a seasonal pattern? So let me explain that. If you plot the autocorrelation function, okay, similarly like this. If you plot autocorrelation, sorry, if you plot autocorrelation function, so you can find, is there any pattern? No, no pattern, right? So nothing, no seasonal, nothing, no trend, nothing. So it is high in some peak, it is completely low in other things. Okay, only certain points pop ups. Okay, and this is, and also it is with respect to certain limits in the sense, see, -3 to minus 0.3 to plus 0.3. What happens here is, if the value is in this range, okay, then generally we call it as a time series white noise. Okay, values between -0.3 to 0.3. Okay, generally we call it as white noise. Okay, here also the same, the previous thing also, see, -0.3 to, those data is always ignored, so that's why they mention it as a noise. Okay, always noise comes up. Okay, so it falls within this dashed lines. Okay, so it is not exactly -0.3 to plus 0.3. They can say it as approximately this range. Okay, so if it comes, it is a white noise. In this data, we have seen increase in trend, increase in seasonal data. We have seen a seasonal data, seasonal pattern we are finding. So compared to this, like this. come start from this. So this is a decisional pattern. Okay, the next topic is, so this is a brief overview of time series forecasting. So I have not gone in depth. This is because of less period. Okay, less time period. So I could not. If you are given for 3 hours or 4 hours, I could explain in deep. Okay, so this is just an overview of time series forecasting. Okay, so next is I'm going to start with, so only few more slides. After that, I can go with that example. I will be explaining the concept. Okay, using practically. 1 minute. Yeah. So many will be knowing the concepts of neural network, but for the sake of people who don't know, so I'm explaining just, it is just a basic. Okay, it is not in depth. Okay, neural networks, it always uh, it is a process that mimics the shape of a brain, mimics the way the how human brain operates. Okay, so in neural networks we have something called neurons. Okay, that is an artificial in nature. So in general we call perceptrons as neuron. Single neuron is nothing but a perceptron. Okay, so and basically why I'm going for neural network, why not basic with machine learning, why not time series forecasting with machine learning and regression based algorithms. The reason for choosing this neural network is when data is huge. Okay, so machine learning model uh, might give less output, less accuracy, might produce more loss. Okay, but the fact is, in general, machine learning regression based techniques, ARIMA based techniques, statistical techniques are good for neural network. Okay, compared to this, are good for time series forecasting instead of neural network. Okay, we can easily find this autocorrelation function. I have explained, right? We can easily find this autocorrelation function, everything. We can set according to, we can choose the time period we want, everything we can do. We can find it, which if only 3 lakh is necessary or 4 lakh is necessary based on the graph, it will be easy to find. Okay, but neural network, when you are starting time series forecasting, it is better to start with deep learning because it is easy. You have a lesser concepts to understand uh, when compared to ARIMA based techniques. So here the concepts will be huge in ARIMA based techniques or regression based techniques. So you have a lot to read. But if you want to read less and if you want to work on the results, then we can start with neural network, deep learning technique with neural network. Okay, but it produces what to say, compared to ARIMA based techniques, output will be loss will be what to say, loss will be high. Okay, so ARIMA based techniques perform better compared to neural network. And the one of the disadvantages with respect to ARIMA based technique is, see, in general in neural network we are going to predict the sales based on a single time period only. Okay, single variable only. What will happen if you want 3 or 4 variables to predict the future variable, the future sales? Okay, for example, we are taking the monthly sales data. If you take machine learning, statistical based or ARIMA based technique, if you take the statistical based, based on the monthly data, we will be predicting the new month data. Okay, for example, I'm taking 2 years of data to produce the sales data for, to predict the sales data, to forecast the sales data for the 3rd year starting period. Okay, but the sales is based on the sales only they were understanding. Okay, for example, sales is only one column. Okay, what will happen if you want to consider the sales as well as the country? Okay, I want to consider the sales, I want to predict the sales with respect to monthly data, future sales with respect to monthly data, and with respect to country and political factors. So this has become a 3 variables, right? So in this case, ARIMA forecasting will not work. Okay, so if you want to use more than 3-4 variables or more than one variable, so it is better to go with neural networks. Okay, in this case neural networks perform better. Okay, we are handling with huge data and huge variables. Okay, more than 2-3 variables, it can be more than 5, 3, more than 5, 6, it can go on. So neural networks performs better because data is huge. When data is huge, neural network takes care of all the concepts by itself. Okay, so neural network performs better. So okay, now coming back to neural network. A neural network, as I said, neural network mimics the way the human brain operates. Okay, so in neural network, the neurons are called perceptron. Single neuron is called perceptron. Okay, it will give, even if you give huge amount of data, it will give the best result, and we don't want to redesign the output criteria. Okay, that is one of the advantage of neural network. It will automatically adjust itself or adjust the weights, everything. Okay, so generally neural network are called as black boxes. It is difficult to interpret them beyond their performance metrics. Okay, performance metrics in the sense we can say an accuracy or we can say an output. Okay. So next is okay. So neural networks. This is a block diagram explains the neural network layers and activation function. Okay. So this is an basic diagram of neural networks and layers and activation function. Okay. So as I said, so this is neuron, perceptron. Okay. So neural networks, the input is input layers. We can say this as an features. Okay, neuron 1, 2, 3. These are all features. We can give as many inputs if you want to give. Okay, for a time series analysis, generally it will be one feature. Okay, input. Okay, that is sales. Okay, or monthly weather data. Okay, so it will be one feature. Okay, we can give many features if you want, depends upon the criteria you are going to apply. Okay, so and each neuron is assigned weights. Okay, and passes through an hidden layer. Okay, the hidden layer will have activation layer also, activation function also. Okay, so the aggregation, everything you will do, right? So that will have hidden layers. Hidden layers, yeah, where the transformation takes place. Okay, from input to output, transformation takes place in hidden layer. Okay, For this transformation, activation functions are very helpful. Okay, they are helpful in transforming the input to output. Okay, so activation function will be present in depends upon the situation, will be present in both hidden layer as well as the output layer, depends upon the criteria what we give. Okay, so let us look at the activation function. So activation function in neural networks, they are generally called as then there are three types. Okay, one is sigmoid. So sigmoid function will give the value between 0 and 1. Okay, sigmoid generally it produces the value between 0 and 1. Okay, and tan function it generally produces 1.1 minus 1.0 to 1 minus 1.0 to 1. This is what tan function. It is tan hyperbolic. Okay, tangent hyperbolic. Okay, so next is rectified linear unit. This is common apart from sigmoid function. Okay, so what does rectified unit gives is for value less than 0 it will produce as 0, and for value greater than 0 it will produce as maximum of that value. Okay, you can see the condition here. So if it is 0 for value less than 0 and it is maximum value for a value greater than or equal to 0. Okay, it can be anything. So based on the condition criteria, whatever we want, we can give that rectified linear unit or ReLU functions. So these are the common activation functions that you will be seeing across the neural network. So these are very basics. Okay, I'm not going into deep. Okay, so next before going into LSTM, okay, I would like to say that why we are choosing LSTM for that. Okay, for performing time series data. And one more thing, the LSTM is done. Before going to LSTM, I will also say what is RNN. Okay, what is RNN? RNN is nothing but a recurrent neural network. Okay, they are designed specifically to work with, we can say, a sequence data. Sequence data in the sense time series data is a sequence data. Okay, and if you go to one more thing, so for sentimental analysis kind of thing, it is a sequence data. For example, if you want to predict the sentiments, yes or no, 0 or 1. Okay, so you can go with this is a kind of sequence data. Okay, and audio is always a sequence data. Then chord trajectories like left, right, so those things are always sequence data. Music, everything we can say it as a sequence data. Okay, so this is an example of recurrent neural network, and you must have seen if you type in Google in mail, if you type in mail, hello, then Google automatically produces how are you. So this is a sequence data. If you give one input, it will produce the sequence next output. Okay, this is called sequence. Okay, before for that, what it will do is it will read a lot of historical data. So it will undergo a lot of trainings. It will read. Okay, so these things happen at the background. So based on reading a lot of data, it will produce such output. Okay, this is an example of recurrent neural network. Okay, and it's especially used in now. It is used in natural language processing. I said hello, it means how are you. It will produce. So this kind of things. So we can even we are seeing in mail, right? So it will automatically generate a text. So based on that, but in certain cases it is okay, but in many cases we tend to follow that sequence, right? So whatever Google is suggesting, for even with we will do some grammatical errors. So those kind of things it will solve. Okay. So these sequence words are always high probability words. Okay. Okay. How does this recurrent neural network learn? So this is the why this is the different from artificial neural network. So we call this general neural network as ANN, artificial neural network, but here we call it as recurrent neural network. Why recurrent? Okay. So here the feedback is produced to the back to the input. Okay. That's why we call it as a recurrent neural network. Okay. So based on the feedback, this feedback is fed again back and back. So okay, so it automatically reads a lot of things. Okay, it corrects its mistakes. Everything happens internally. So that happens in hidden layers. That is difficult to see. That's why it is called as. We can say that they are black box. Okay, it is difficult to interpret. So what is happening in the background? Okay, so and if we use more than one layer, okay, it is called as a deep. Here it is we are using greater than two hidden layers. This is one hidden layer, this is another. Okay, so this is called as recurrent neural network. Basically idea is nothing but it converts the uh, output back to the input. Okay, it feeds the output back to the input. Okay, that is the feedback. Feedback is done internally. So that is the beauty of recurrent neural network, and is designed generally to work with sequence data, okay, or text data. Okay, that is of sequence nature. Okay, even with the time series data, we can use this. Okay, so next is LSTM. So the name is long short term memory. So it is a type of it is not an RNN, it is a type of an RNN. Okay, it belongs to a type of RNN that is used in deep learning to produce large data. So what is the advantage of why we are going for LSTM over RNN? So it is also a type of RNN. Why we are going for LSTM advanced version? It is because in RNN will always tend to forget the inputs. Okay, RNN will always tend to forget the inputs. Okay, see, it will tend to forget the input. It is feeding back to hidden layer. It might tend to forget the input, whatever input you have shared. If you share if you share many inputs, it might have the probability of tendency of forgetting the inputs. So what will happen is it will affect the output. Sometimes it will affect the output. To overcome that such issue, I'm not saying it is regular. It will have the habit of it is having the habit of forgetting the input. Okay, so we are going for LSTM, long short term memory. Okay, long short term memory network. Okay, so here in LSTM cells we'll have that more they have that gate. Okay, input gate, which they will not forget. They always keep on considering that. Okay, next is this is an advanced topic, but we are not going to that. So the latest is the latest variant of LSTM cell is gated recurrent unit. Okay, uh, this has come latest, but even LSTM is also latest only. It has been there in the market only for the past 5 years. For 2014-15 only it has started. Okay, so now only people have started using this LSTM. Sorry. Okay, so it is actually 5 years is very short period. Okay, now only people have started putting into practice. Many people are going with this. Before that, they used to go with ARIMA with respect to time series. Now people in the past 2-3 years, people have started moving to this LSTM. Okay. Okay. So next is Keras. So I'm going to implement everything using Keras only. Deep learning using Keras. Time series deep learning using Keras. Okay. So I'm going to go. So before that, I just want to say what is Keras. Okay. So it is an open source library that provides an interface for artificial neural networks. Okay, so we are going to work on that. Okay, so you will have some hands-on experience before that now. Okay, so before that, give me 1 or 2 minutes. Give me 1 minute. I'll be back. Okay, so after that, so I've completed with the concepts, theory concepts. So let us go on to the practical part of time series. So it will be maximum of half an hour. So we will finish it as soon as possible. Okay, so give me 1 or 2 minutes. So I'll be back. So can we start now? Okay. So so theory part has been completed. So next is I'm going to show the practical part of time series analysis. And before that, before working with one second, let me. Okay. So this is the data that we are going to work. Okay, it is a sales data. Okay, starting from 1992 to it goes up to 2019. Okay, so this much data is required. Okay, at least I'm not saying with respect to years, at least with respect to sales. So this is a sales. This is some random input. Okay, random column. We are going to change that. This is the sales data. That is for alcohol sales. So for this, we are going to use time series analysis to produce the, for example, consider this is 2 months data. Okay, consider this is 2 months data. What we are going to do is, with the help of this 2 months data, we are going to predict the third month data. So consider this as 2 months data. With the help of this 2 months data, we are going to predict the third month data. It can be like this also. With the help of, we consider this as a 3 months data. With the help of a 3 months data, we are going to predict the fourth month data. Okay. Example, we can say consider this as a 6 months data. With the help of this 6 months data, monthly sales or period of time. So why time series comes? It is based on time. Okay. Okay. 6 months data or a period of time, we can predict this 7th month data. Okay. We can predict this number. So what time series analysis is, it assumes that previous pattern, this pattern continues in future. Okay, for prediction. So based on this, we can say this. Okay. See, considering the, and one more thing I just want to go is, considering the present situation of coronavirus, this pandemic, we can't say that the previous pattern will not follow. It is difficult to say. Reason because, and many people will be asking, because of this pandemic, how time series forecasting is going to work. It will work because it is a temporary shortage, temporary period only. This is temporary only. It is not going to be for lifelong. It is just a period of 6 months or 7 months or 1 year. Maximum it will be of 1 year, 1.5 years. That's all. So in those period, it might affect, but it will not affect the previous years before to pandemic. Okay, those data history will always be repeating. Okay, so those things. Okay, but if in spite of for example, any major changes happen, only time series analysis will not work. Okay, rest of the time, so time series analysis will work. Okay, for all kind of things, sales, not only for sales, for all kind of things. Okay, wherever time series forecasting is applicable. Okay, as I said, in different departments, right? Telecom, energy. Okay, then traffic, everything. So okay, so traffic and all, if you see, traffic and all continued only for, stopped and halted only for 2 months, 3 months. After that, regular traffic has come. We can't say that 2 months traffic, we can consider that as a 2 months pandemic, 2 month traffic was completely halted, right? We can say that we can take that period as a noise, white noise. There is no correlation. It is actually zero correlation. Okay, with respect to previous month. Okay, we can ignore that. Okay. See, next thing is, now we are seeing only one variable. This is the sales. Okay, this is the sales is only one variable. This one, sales is only one variable. What will happen if I have many more variables, columns, variable in the sense column names, features, we can say features. What will happen? So can we predict, use time series analysis for predicting sales for having more features, more columns? Yes, it is possible. So that's where the advantage of deep learning comes. Okay, if you have more sales, more columns to predict, deep learning performs better. In general, time series prediction, ARIMA-based methods perform better. But if you have more features, more column names to do, you can do in research kind of things, whether this feature is affecting the sales or not. For that purpose, we can use deep learning based techniques. Okay, so generally time series is nothing but it is a regression based techniques. You have to keep in mind. So whatever you time series is nothing but it is same as it is a regression based techniques. Okay, it is a regression based. Okay, the points can also be in continuous. Okay, this is sales, so it is discrete, it is not continuous. Okay, this is sales. Okay, this is okay. The points can also be in continuous. Okay, in floats. Okay, so with respect to, if you have many other things, points can also be value, data points will also be continuous one. So it is basically a regression techniques. Okay, so going back to the code. So this is the data. Okay, so what we are doing here, the first step is I'm not executing the data since having some issue with the system. Okay, I'm not executing the data. For that, what I will do is whatever thing we are doing, I can write it here. Okay. Okay, so and one more thing, you have to be very careful of using Keras and TensorFlow. Certain systems, Keras will work and TensorFlow will work. In many systems, TensorFlow and Keras will work. You have to take care of certain things properly. Okay, before working with the time series data, before working with the deep learning itself. Okay, compared to machine learning, deep learning produces this kind of errors. Okay, so it is very difficult to solve also. So I have to take care of all the dependencies before moving with before installing the packages. Okay, so sometimes the system, my system also crashed, actually reinstalled. So now again it is causing some issue then and there. Okay. Okay. So first what I'm doing is just importing the libraries and data. Okay, so these are the libraries I'm using. So if any new library comes, so I will show, so you can use that. Okay, I'm not executing it. Okay, next is after importing the libraries, I'm going with the data. So this is the data you have read, right? Okay, then what this, so I'm importing and saving it in variable called TF. Okay, what I am doing is I am saving the data. I'm taking only the monthly frequency. Okay, I'm not taking the year. It can be an monthly frequency, monthly sales. Okay, MS is nothing but monthly sales or monthly frequency. Okay, what is this monthly frequency? Monthly frequency is nothing but I'm going to do a prediction for the next month. Okay, for months, not years. Okay, I'm going to do for months, not years. Okay, that's why. So after that, after I'm checking whether it is properly loaded or not for displaying purpose, I'm using this df.head. Okay, so it gives this data. First, head is nothing but first 5 records. Okay, I'm changing and renaming the column name to sales. Here I'm changing the column name to sales. This is where what I'm doing. df.columns is equal to sales. I'm renaming this to sales. Next, what I'm doing is I'm plotting this data, how it looks, how this data looks. So this is an historical data, right? We are not going to do anything. It is just an historical data. See, if you are plotting just a function called plot, df.plot, pandas has inbuilt function called df.plot. Okay, if you use that, you can get this. Okay, the starts from 1992, sales starts from 1992, that company starts from 1992, or sales of alcohol, and goes up to, we have data up to 2019. So this is the latest data. Okay, 2019 till 2019 end. So it is just 10 months before data. Okay. See what we can see in this from this historical data in time series analysis requires a lot of explored data analysis. See, we can see some trend, right? You can see some trend, increasing trend as showed right in previously, and with seasonality, right? So for some period it is low, some period is high, but it is gradually increasing. Low, high, low, high, low, high. It is gradually increasing. Okay, so how to find this? But how to find this? Whether the seasonality is there or trend is there or not, how to find it? We have to decompose this data. So let us check how to find the seasonality or trend is there. Okay. Okay, this is the library I'm importing from statsmodel.tsa.seasonal import seasonal underscore decompose. What it does is it splits this data into seasonal, trend, noise. It splits. Okay, it splits this data. So let us check how the data is looking like. See, it splits. Okay, it splits the data. This is the observed plot. Okay, observed plot after decomposition. Now we are going to check the trend in that. What is the trend? If we go, you can see the trend is separable from here and separated, and it has been shown here. From 1992 to 2019, it is gradually increasing. Gradually increasing. Next part is seasonal. So I said right, seasonal. Yes, seasonal is there. Only if you do decompose, you will come to know whether the seasonality is and trend everything is there or not. I may be right, I may not be right. Okay, but it is good to cross check, right? What is the kind of pattern? Sometimes it will be misleading to us. Okay, it will look like seasonal data, but it will be of noise. Only if you do some decomposition, you will get to know. See, this data has some seasonal pattern. So what happens is for one season, the sales will be high. For another season, the sales will be less. Okay, the season can be, it can be month end, or it can be Fridays, Saturday, weekdays, weekends, it can be weekends. Okay, it can be a festive season. Okay, those things are called seasonal. Okay, okay, this is a seasonal pattern. Okay, in seasons it is increasing. Okay, but it is not stopping, right? It is season increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. This is the seasonal pattern, right? See, and seasonal pattern, see, mean is constant, 0. Okay. And so we have found out the trend plot, seasonal plot. Then we are going to error. So this is the noise, white noise. We can say white noise, residual, errors, unwanted thing. Okay. Next, coming back to how to do a train test split with respect to time series. That is one of the important thing. Okay, data has been cleaned, everything has been done. See, this is a clean data. One thing for information, this is a clean data. Okay, this is a clean data. Okay, so we are working with clean data. So next we are doing a train test split. Okay, so how to do a train test split with for time series analysis? Okay, for a time series analysis, okay, so what we are doing is we are taking the total length of months. It is 325. Okay, in 325, what we are going to do is we are going to take the last 12 months monthly record, right? Last 12 months, we are going to keep it for test data. Okay, we are taking that last 12 months, we are taking it for test data, and remaining data will be there, right? That we are going for training data, taking it for training data. Okay, so what we are doing is this is what we are doing now. Okay, we are taking that ILOC of up to 313, we are taking for test data, train data, and the last from 313 to last we are taking for test data. Now if you see, check, length of test data is 12 and train data is 313. Okay, I'm not executing this code because of some issue in my system. Sometimes it will give error, sometimes it will not give output. Okay. Okay. So what is the need for scaling here? Okay. The reason for scaling here is for 1 month the sales will be extremely high. For another month the sales will be in negatives. Okay. So what will happen is the neural network or deep learning models, when assigning weights when from inputs, it has to assign weight, right? So it will give some random negative weights. So what will happen? It will impact the model. So what we are doing is we are doing a scaling data. Okay. So scaling, we are using min-max scaler. Okay. We are just neutralizing the sales value. Okay. So make it some constant, make it some value. We are not taking it as a what to say, we are not taking up as it is, we are neutralizing it. Okay, that is going to evenly spread across all the data points. Okay, so we are using a min-max scaler, and remember we are training only the train data, not test data. Reason, because we are going to check that, we are going to use the train data and we are going to check for the test data. Okay, so if you learn, so machine learning has to learn the historical data, and so deep learning whatever thing, so time series forecasting deep learning model has to learn the historical data and produce the new output that will be compared with the original data, right? Test data. Okay, if we learn the test data also, what we are doing is it is like cheating ourselves. Okay, output also be like this, and we should, then it is like overfitting. Okay, learning everything and produce the output. Okay, so ideally machine learning model, deep learning model should produce output on the test data. Okay, unseen data. Okay, we should not train it, we should not use the machine learning model to train that. That's why even in machine learning what we do is we keep the test data separately and training data separately. Okay, and even in learning we are not using that, we are using only the plain data, not the test data. Okay, so usually many would have seen the fit underscore transform. So fit is for learning and transform is for applying that. Okay, learn it, apply it, learn it, apply it. Okay, so this is what, so fit underscore, okay, scalar underscore transform. So after learning it, we are going to transform it. Okay, but we are transforming the test data, that will not have any impact. Okay, okay, next we are going to, now after checking that, we are going to use how the training data is looked. Okay, after scaling, so scale underscore train. Okay, we are checking, so this is how it looks. So scaling generally gives the values between 0 and 1. Okay, it will neutralize the values and evenly spread across the data between 0 and 1. Maximum is 1. Okay, minimum is 0. and these are values in between. Okay. Now next is time series generator. This is one of the important thing. Okay. For learning the model, okay, this is time series generator is very important. Okay. What it does is it will give the, okay, what it does is the time series generator model, it will give the training data. Okay, time series generator will give the training data. So with this training data only, we are going to produce it for use it for Keras model building. Okay, LSTM model building. Okay, how? So what will be the training data? Okay, so now first is what we are going to do is we are going to take the 2 months of data and predict the third month output, right? So this is the 2 months of data. This is the input. Okay, how many months we want? So here only we are going to give the condition. Okay, this input is based on domain based understanding. Okay, so how many months based on the domain based knowledge? Okay, should be that. So we can keep it as it is. Okay, 2 and 1 we can play with it also. Okay, so with this I'm taking input as 2, that is 2 months data, and output is 1. So output is 1 is nothing but I'm going to predict for third month. Okay, so I'm going to put it in time series generator. So here I'm using the inputs. Okay, and I'm passing the scale underscore that we have done some transformation, right? Here why 2 times scale underscore train is nothing but it is data, and this is also output. Okay, so it is like data set is there. Okay, this is nothing but it is like a data set is there. In data set you divide the data in one data set, you divide the data as train data and test data, and you will keep the another data set separately, right, for testing. Okay, that is test data. So what we are doing is with this training data you will have one training data and one test data. Within a one training data itself you will have 10 test bits, right? That is that. Okay, this is that. Okay, and length is n underscore input is whatever input we are going, and features is 1, and batch size is nothing but at one stretch we are going to the input is going to the entire model. One time the input is going to the entire model. Okay, that neural networks one time it will pass full one time. Okay, that is the batch size. Okay, now if we check the length of the train data, is 313. What training generator does is, see, it gives only, it removes that 2 and gives the remaining data. So next is, if you give, it is working, so it is giving the proper data, proper output. So how we're getting is, if you execute this you will get this data, training data. This is not the model building, this is training data. Similarly, if you give for 12 months, what will happen? This is the 12 months, we are going to predict this y. Okay, and feature is 1. So next is we are going to create the model building. Okay, so what we are doing, this is the procedure you have to follow. First we have to build the sequential model. Okay, after that we are going to add this dense. This dense is nothing but for aggregating. Okay, the layers were aggregating the data. Okay, next is 100. Here 100 LSTM 100. LSTM is the type of LSTM is also layer. Okay, 100 neurons we are going to give, and activation function we are going to pass is value. Then input shape is n input comma n features. They are given right in time series generator that you have to pass. Okay, then how many output we are going to, how many dense layer we are going to add activation for, how many dense layer for collection, right? Summing up, aggregating, only one dense layer. Okay, and optimizer is Adam optimizer, and loss is mean square error. And if you execute that, what will happen? We will be getting this output. Okay, and we can play with it. You can go with 100 neurons or 150. To minimum is 100. Okay, minimum you should start with 100 layers. Then only model will perform better. But still, model has not model building has not done successfully. Okay. So this is where, so we are fitting the model with fit underscore generator, and epochs is 50. Okay, epochs is nothing but single entire run through of your training data. Okay, so it is, you pass through a data only once full across the model. Okay, across the layers. Okay, from starting to output once. If you scan through it once, then it is epochs is 1. Okay, if you do it for 50 means it will scan through the model. Okay, 50 times. It will go back, come back, go on, go back and come, go back and come. It will go for 50 times. Okay, from input to output. Okay, it shifts between a starting point to input to output 50 times. Okay, see how we have to stop it. After some certain point, what will happen is the loss will be a constant. Okay, we have to find that point. See, after this 43rd epoch, okay, the loss is constant. Okay, so number of epochs required is 43 for this case. Okay, next is we are going to check how the loss behaves with respect to epochs. Okay, see, this is the epoch. Okay, 50. We have done 50 epochs, right? Initially the loss is high, but gradually it starts reducing. Okay, so our accuracy is determined by number of epochs. Okay, loss should be less. Okay, if loss is less, the model works fine, better, right? So epochs, so epochs is required. Okay, so after 40, see, the loss is constant. That's not much change after 40. There's a peak in 40, 41. After that, it is almost a constant. Okay, so number of epochs for our case should be 43. Okay, so next is, yeah, so we till now we have worked on training data alone and test data alone. Training data, we had to training data and test data. We divided training data into train data and test data. Now we have taken that separate test data, right? This is one time. Okay, we are going to use that and verify output is coming or not. Model building is done. We have to check. So what we are going to take is last 12 records for evaluation of test data. Last 12 records. We are initially seen, right? Starting. Less 12. This last 12 records. So we are taking it, and what we are doing is we are doing a prediction on that. So how many month data we want? 1, and input is Here we are given as 1 month, and feature is also 1. This input is nothing but batch size. Batch size. This is batch size. Okay. This is batch size. Okay. If you predict, this is the output. Okay. 0.723. See, we are getting. So check. We are taking the 2 months data and we are predicting the third month. Right? So we have taken input. We can also give 11 months. We can produce 12. Okay. We can also give like this 12 months, 11 months data. We can produce the 12th one. Similarly, we are taking 2 months data and we are producing the third month data. We are predicting the or forecasting the third month data. And checking whether the first data is 0.63. Yes. We give 1. Okay. So I have completed. So any questions? I hope the session is useful. So any questions for your team?